going to conquer and we're going to take some. Is that understood? Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do, sweetheart. We are going to go and get some. All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! What are you?
Summer presents unique opportunities and challenges for families raising children with disabilities. In EP Magazine's annual Summer Fun and Travel issue, we revisit some articles from recent years that address a variety of situations that parents might face during the summer. Sign up and read informative articles for free about autism and other disabilities at www.epmagazine.com.
Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel, a knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of REITs Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to REITsAcrossAmerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's REITsAcrossAmerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
I remember a time when I was in a not so good place, and these games and these activities and being able to come and have the camaraderie that we have here, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. There are people here that have been through what I've been through. It makes me feel like I don't know, I'm part of something great.
Just let yourself go. Give it a try.
We're Oscar Mike. We're at the 10th Annual Elizabeth Dole Foundation's convening event here at the Reagan Center in Washington, D.C. And my next guest is Heidi. These stories that you have heard from Michael Corman, Joseph Kavanaugh, and Heidi's next will really change the way you look at care, love, family. It's just been really impactful. Heidi, welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just an honor to be here with the word heroes thrown around everywhere. You dunk a basketball, you're a hero. You do this, you're a hero. I'm a hero to my kids when I get the internet right. Mm-hmm. But I've been humbled to talk to you all who are true heroes. How did your caregiver journey begin?
So in December of 23, my daughter, who is an active duty Army officer, had just graduated from the physician assistant program in San Antonio, had come home for Christmas break and then was driving to her first assignment for her clinicals, and she was in a horrible, horrible car accident, catastrophic, severe brain injury, called us because she would be dead by morning. So, of course, we rushed to be with her, spent the time in the trauma hospital, and then, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it adds to the story, I think,
Sure.
because we're military.
And you served, right?
Yes.
Where'd you serve?
I was Army National Guard, but
Nice.
deployed to Iraq
Okay.
during OIF 3.
Okay.
So her accident was in Baltimore,
Okay.
right? Car accident. So she was taken first to Baltimore shock trauma, where they saved her life. But then after 3 or 4 days on life support, told us that she wasn't going to make it. We should take her off life support and just let her go. And after, praying about it and thinking about it and, what do we do? Someone dear to me from Walter Reed came over and stepped in, and she was like, don't take that answer. The Army is here to help you. We're going to do everything we can. Move her from here to Walter Reed, and don't give up hope. Had I not had that, first of all, we probably wouldn't have Vanessa with me. But we did do that. She was transferred to Walter Reed, had a long, long recovery, and now, 16 months later, is doing way better than expected. So, being in the military, they did a great job of taking care of her, but it was hard to know what I should be doing to help them take care of her.
Can I ask a different kind of question?
Yes.
So, I talked to a Gold Star mother recently who lost her son. Not only did your daughter go through this, but you served. You know what the game is and the cost is. But now you're seeing your flesh and blood in this state. Did you feel a sense of you're powerless? You can't help her?
Yes. Well, and I'm military medical at the top of the.
So you know what the score is.
At the top of the scheme. So. Yeah,
You
it
knew
was
what
tough.
was going
I've never
on.
been on the recipient side. I've always been on the one taking care of people.
So this is all new to you.
All new. So
Okay.
Anyway, back to the story is that they're taking care of her, but I don't know where to get resources to help take care of us while we're taking care of her. Housing and, we're from Idaho. This happened in Baltimore, so now we're flying people back and forth and trying to be with her and save her life. And it wasn't, so the accident was in December. It wasn't until June that a nonprofit, Semper Fi, invited my husband and I to a caretaker retreat, or caregiver retreat, that I learned what is out there for the people taking care of my daughter. The hospital's taking care of her. We all need some kind of counseling or the family's going to fall apart. We need to just get away from it. The retreat helped us with that. But while we were there, I met several people that had been or are fellows at the Dole Foundation. So I Facebook friend them and watch what they're doing. And I started to realize that, there's nobody in the hospital that told me about this foundation. I would know nothing about it without other caregivers, right? And so I looked at what some of them were doing and the part of my professional life I'm missing. And I thought, well, I'll do that someday. But then I thought, why don't I do it now? They're in D.C. I'm in Bethesda. Building 62, the soldier recovery unit, has hundreds of, I don't know how many people are there now, but many people getting care now, and their families are going through the same thing I went through. Even this morning, well, I'm looking away, but even this morning while I'm here, I got a text from one of those mothers saying, I never knew this was out there. And they're in Bethesda.
Right across the river.
Yeah. I didn't either, but I'm going to help all of you learn more about it.
What was it like, Heidi, when you realized that you weren't alone in this and you had the support around you?
So much of a relief. Not only did I not, of course I know I'm not alone. But what you learn from other caregivers, that the that the medical system never gives you is unfathomable. You know, I feel there's a part of me that, you know, I'm retired. Well, I've retired because of her injury, but I'm retired military. I have an income. I'm not, you know, I don't necessarily need financial support. I'm not looking for charity. I don't even need a lot of what the nonprofits offer by ways of trips and retreat, but I need the information that the people at those retreats are giving out. You know, little things like, where do you take your loved one when they're to the rehab point where they need to learn how to drive again? The military, the VA doesn't do that for you. But you know who does? Semper Fi, I think. Either Semper Fi or Wounded Warrior. One of them has an in to, you know, where do you go to get adjustments made to your car? My daughter can't use her right arm. She's slowly getting better in every way, but just for the fun of it, I had her just sit in the car one day and say, you know, tell me what it's like to drive. What are you going to do? And she started, and the first thing I realized was she can't even start the car because her arm doesn't work. You know, but these are things the hospital doesn't tell you, but fellow caregivers tell you. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I mean, they're just focused on the patient, not all the
Right.
stuff after care.
So, you know, this whole convening talks about, you know, they've got 4 pillars they're working on, but the one that really speaks to me is the one that integrates the healthcare systems so they do know that information.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, you go to the hospital sometimes and you get a slip of paper saying, do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
It sounds like, even in Michael's case, you don't get a whole lot.
No.
It's just,
You don't really get much.
You-
You get great care. I will never say
Sure.
that she hasn't gotten great care.
but, you know, like Michael Corman was talking about how the
Resources,
house had to
yeah.
be redone for his
Right.
father-in-law. You know, I didn't even think about a car.
Yeah, I didn't either. But
Right.
you know who did? The other caregivers that have been there. The car is one of the big things, but just like, you know, once she was able to get out of the hospital and move around a little, there's several places that have, you know, retreats and places you can go just to connect with nature, get out and walk. I wouldn't know about any of this if it wasn't for other caregivers. And I had never heard of anything like the Elizabeth Dole Foundation that can collect those caregivers and match you up with people. So the way they do it is that I'm assigned to Idaho because that's where I'm from, so I represent Idaho. But there's nothing to say I can't go back to Bethesda, where I am, which is what I plan to do, and just immediately start with all of those family members in the SRU.
So both Michael and Joseph talked about social media and its power to connect other caregivers. Are you?
Already working. Yeah. As soon as the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, you know, published my picture and said welcome, already getting people like, oh my God, do we have this in Idaho? Do you know so and so? Can you help me? Where can I go for this?
I can't even begin to imagine as a parent, as a soldier yourself, what it's been like for you and your family. What's it like now that you have the support from the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, these other orgs, to start seeing your daughter come back? What's that been like, Heidi?
It's been amazing. You know, Joseph talked a little bit about the faith part of it. I mean, deep in my heart, I kind of always knew she would because I have faith, and I, you know, I just know that she's coming back. But it's pretty incredible. I don't want, when I tell her story, I don't want pity. Like I said, I don't want financial resources. I want other people that understand what she needs, what we're going through. And I think another thing is that we focus on the caregiver like there's only one. In our situation, it's not. I'm employing one of her best friends from high school to be there like now when I'm not there. She goes to all of her appointments with her, kind of takes care of her. You know, my husband, my daughter who's still in college, we're collectively a caregiver. It's not just one person.
So it's a team.
Yeah,
It's a team effort all the way, and now you have support for that team so they can keep, you know, your daughter in the fight.
Amazing.
She's a warrior, isn't she?
She really is. And
Yeah.
I wish, for what you do, I really wish that there was a time you could bring her on, because she was an Ironman, a full Ironman triathlete, like brilliant, in PA school, going places. Everybody loves her. And then to see her life just change so suddenly is heartbreaking. But as much as they said she would never be the same person, her bubbly personality and everybody that sees her is like, her smile lights up the room now, even now, with, a scar on her face and her difficulties with her arm and difficulties with walking. She's never become self-conscious about it. She smiles, she laughs. Anytime you call and say, how was your day? The first thing she says is awesome. And I'm like, was it really awesome? Well, no, but then she'll kind of...
Here's my promise to you, Heidi. Let me get to February 2026. We'll keep in touch, please, and we will make that happen. It would be an honor.
She would be
to come out, meet your daughter, and let people understand the kind of warrior she is. Because the reason I say that is a lot of people get hurt, and I've seen it happen where they just lose the fight internally for whatever reason. And then there's these people that stay in the fight and fight to get back and fight for everything they have. And I really align to that. It really resonates with me. And I think absolutely, it would be an honor if you'd have me.
The other thing I think that I should have mentioned earlier about my case is that I think, at least from the people here, my daughter's maybe the only one that's actually still active duty.
Well, she's still active duty.
So a lot of caregivers don't learn about all of this stuff until years later,
Right.
So I'm fortunate because she hasn't med boarded yet to be learning from other people, like, make sure you get this and this and this before they med board her.
Okay, last couple questions.
Yeah.
Why hasn't the Army med boarded? The Marine Corps couldn't wait to med board me.
They can't wait to med board anybody.
Right.
But, well, first of all, I know the regulations just because I'm in Army medicine, but, they've got to help her get better first.
Got it.
And that they aren't hesitating to do that. I haven't had any problems with the Army
So the
caregivers.
Nobody's
rushing her because I think they all know she's coming back.
I want to see that comeback story.
Awesome.
Heidi, again, kind of like with Joseph, where this power of love really manifests itself. We have a mother's love, a soldier's love, and this whole family team behind your daughter, and now you have the Elizabeth Dole Foundation as part of this. Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks again for talking to us. That's awesome. Thank you.
Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. Again, we're at the Elizabeth Dole convening here in Washington, D.C. You've heard some really impactful stories from Michael, Joseph, and now Heidi. And we as veterans, we as Americans can take action and support those who are giving care to our nation's heroes. Thank you so much. As we say at Oscar Mike Radio, we're mission flight.
The biggest fear Gold Star families have that their child will be forgotten.
We need to never forget freedom wasn't free.
It's the fact that they give us the life we have now. We should remember them and give thanks to them.
If I can be a part of something today that's going to make the surviving family of any of these veterans, these heroes, feel better tomorrow, then it's worth it.
That one wreath symbolizes one family that was able to smile because of the generous donations.
To sponsor a wreath and honor a veteran, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. Oscar Mike Radio is an oversized load Co-Sinista One production. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 988 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.